Hey Karen, thank
Sure.
you so much for joining me. It's really, really good to have this chat with you. So you came on board with Metabolic Balance in 2019 as a qualified nutritionist.
I did.
You have a background as a PT as well.
Yep.
So you've got a pretty extensive health knowledge background, and you did your degree obviously in clinical nutrition.
That's right.
And then you introduced Metabolic Balance in 2019. Can
did.
you share what drew you to it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, firstly, thanks for having me. I had been in practice for a while, and I remember finishing my degree and coming out, and the usual, what now? How do I actually make money out of this? Like, how can I do this? And went into practice and was seeing clients and found that the amount of work that I had to do wasn't going to be sustainable. There was no way I could actually build a business from this. The money coming in didn't line up with the output,
amount of work
that had to do.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to my husband, whose background is in business, and he kept saying to me, you need a product, like you need something. And I'd heard about MB, I'd seen other practitioners doing it and doing well, and it aligned with what I believe, using food, but also having this product that had been tested. Like, it wasn't just something that someone had put out there. It had been around for a long time. It was over 1 million people that had been through this process. So that, I guess, was it. And it was like I could see how I could then use that as a product and have a process that was actually then scalable to then allow me to actually have a business.
Yeah. It's interesting you use the word product.
Yeah.
Because we often use that word to think about like a supplement.
Yeah.
Or a something you have to buy on a recurring basis. But you are using it in terms of a metabolic balance analysis and nutrition plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a plan, and it is tailorable, and everyone is different. But it was really something that had been created. It had been tested. I could become a metabolic balance practitioner and go through that process. And then when I signed someone up, I'd got this tangible product that I could then use my skills as a clinical nutrition to then implement it with my clients.
Yeah.
So it was like every time prior to that, I was reinventing the wheel. And we all know that that's really not sustainable. It's been invented. Don't keep doing it. So all of a sudden I found this wheel and went, this makes sense. And it works.
Yeah. And you've mentioned as well, it's sort of strongly aligned to your values.
Yeah.
Can you sort of maybe share in what sense that is?
Yeah, so I, as a PT, I found that I was struggling with a disconnect between people getting results through food. Like, exercise was one thing, but then there was this food, and then there was this big industry of supplementing and shakes and all of these sort of things. And I did this degree, and I learned about the power of food, the power of nutrition, getting our nutrients from things like this. And I came out and I just went, hang on, as a practitioner, I'm using probably more supplements than I am actually using food, but food is my passion. Like, I love eating food. Everyone needs to eat food. So when I realized that metabolic balance was truly food-based, it doesn't have the shakes, it doesn't have the supplements. Yes, we can supplement as well, but
because you need to do that as a nutritionist.
You need to do that in certain situations, absolutely. But to me, a supplement should supplement the food we eat. It shouldn't replace it, and everybody has to eat. So it was food-based, and I'd studied all this time to learn about food to then not be using food as much. So that was probably what pulled me back to it, and teaching people how to eat again.
Yeah. I think one of the things that has often just driven my passion for MB over the years is also that real knowledge that you are giving people true knowledge that will then take them for a long future, like the long journey ahead as well. Because often with the supplement-based approach, we are, buy this, take it, okay, now you've got to buy some more. Kind of thing, and you still don't really know how to look after yourself.
No.
So would you agree that that's another thing that you see with MB as well?
100%. Like, and I was that person. I literally would get home, and if you opened up my kitchen sink, it was like I had a whole dispensary of products. It could look like a health food store with everything that I had, because I thought that that was what I needed. And actually at the time I wasn't feeling great myself. And the cost associated with that as well.
Yeah,
like
I know.
to keep buying these supplements when you can tailor your food, then the supplements you add in will work better as well, because you've got the foundation right.
So you need less of the supplements.
You need less of the
can be
supplements.
much more targeted
Yeah.
with the ones you truly need.
Ones you truly need, because
That's
you've
what
got
I
that
find,
foundation.
Yeah, that's really cool. So for your clients then, why did you bring MB into your practice when you think about what you wanted to give to your clients? Is there anything else you would mention there?
Yeah, so I think with my clients, it was really about, one, having something that I knew that worked, that I knew was tried, it was trusted, it was recommended, it had a great reputation, and the brand behind it. I went through the process myself. I am very true to the brand myself. I still live what I class a metabolic balanced way of life. So I went through the process myself. It worked for me. I then brought my family on board.
We always use our family as lovely guinea pigs.
But they got the results, and they were probably my biggest doubters, because over the years I had made them try everything, and I got the eye roll of, oh, here we go again. And when I realised that, then they were true believers. And then the first clients that I put through, and I could say to them, it is real food. And that was what it always came back to. That was what I wanted to give my clients. But I also wanted to give them the education as to how to then maintain that.
So you've helped over 700 clients now
I
with
have.
Metabolic Balance,
Yep.
which is pretty exciting. And it's a wonderful, sort of be able to touch those lives as well. I mean, it sounds quite contrived in some ways, is it, to say that, but what would you share about that sort of time and that sort of why you continue to use it? I mean, you've got a lot of experience now with a nutrition plan.
Yep.
So,
I have. So I think, why do I keep using it? Because I know that it works, and my clients are testament to that. So a lot of those 700 clients, being in business, obviously you've got to go out and you've got to market yourself, and you've got to bring leads in, and that's one way to get clients. But a lot of those clients, referrals from clients that have gone through the process.
It's all word of mouth, isn't it?
It's word of mouth, and that's the most powerful thing that you can get. So I needed something that I believed in, that I saw results in, that I could then get those results for my clients, and then they were then my sales team, they were my marketing, they were everything that I needed. So they then brought people in, and the reason they were able to do that is because it wasn't just a plan for 6 weeks, it wasn't just a plan for 12 weeks, this was a lifestyle change for them, and they could then go out and talk about that.
Do you think sometimes when I talk about lifestyle change for people, they can get slightly daunted by this idea? As in, like, oh my goodness,
I have to change.
I've got to change. This is too hard. Or I still want to have birthdays. I still want to go on holiday. I don't want to have to. I still like a bit of cake, and I still like some wine, all that kind of stuff. So, my thoughts are always, you can really do your plan and reset yourself just for a few weeks sometimes, and then learn to the new boundaries that you want to do. And would you agree with that kind of concept, that actually MB is tailorable to whatever really the client needs?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing on change is hard. Like, it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. And we're all resistance to change. I mean, myself, I get a new software package, and I'm not using that. I'm not changing. I know how this works. But you have to go through those hard times and things like that to actually change. I think the thing is, one, we all have to eat food. So we all have to have a plan in place. And when we can really kind of see what the future looks like. So when I have a client come in, I talk about the now, I talk about the change they have to go through, but I also talk about the future. And life has to happen. We can't stop life happening.
No.
We still have to have birthdays. We still have to have
that's
celebrations.
the good stuff in life.
And that's the good stuff. But metabolic balance works around that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of having this plan in place that you know what to do on a daily basis.
So when things are normal, when things are just going to work,
just doing your
taking the
daily
kids to
day
school,
to day,
whatever you're doing. Yeah.
But then a birthday comes up and you go and you enjoy that celebration. Metabolic balance doesn't say you can't do that. No. It doesn't say even you get this defined food list, and it doesn't say this is it, this is the rest of your life. No. It says this is what you need for now. But once you are where you want to be, once you feel great, once you see the changes, everything should open up.
Yeah. So I find it comes much more natural to choose what you really do want, as opposed to what maybe society or just, we've even been taught subliminally over the years to see as a celebration. Because sometimes I'm like, why is it good to eat that cream cake when actually you're going to be on the toilet with diarrhea for the next 12 hours because you've eaten it?
Yeah.
Or is that really a treat?
Yeah, you're bloated and you can't concentrate and all the rest of it. And
or you've got the brain fog or the whatever, the pain, the headaches and all that kind of stuff.
And I'm not going to sit here and say I've never done that.
No.
Because I have. And the next day I've not regretted it, because that was that moment in time, and you know what, I really wanted it at that time. But the next day it reminded me why I shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. So, can you share some great client stories, or just some clients that stick in your mind?
Like, there literally are so many.
Yes, I know. I know.
Look, I think recently, some of the clients that, and like, it's really interesting when you talk life changing. What does that mean? It's just kind of like buying a new car can be life changing. But one of the things that I've really noticed recently is those people that come in and they've been through this journey of their life, and they've been through challenges with maybe chronic illness and things that have kind of set them back, and they just don't feel like themselves again. And I've recently been working with a lady who has been through a lot of these challenges, and she came to me in a really desperate situation.
Yeah.
And we simplified. It was all very overwhelming to her, and there was always a lot of questions of, why do I trust you? I've trusted people in the past. This hasn't worked. And my job then is to make them feel comfortable and explain the process and what's going to happen. And when we came through it, we went through this, and she was going through a lot of medical issues as well, so there was a lot of challenges there. But she came at the end and she said, I didn't know that I could do this and still feel good in the way I do it. And I know that I now have a plan that I can continue to follow. Her energy is better. She is sleeping better. When somebody says to me, I feel like me again.
I know, it's cute, isn't it?
That's when I know that I've got it.
Yeah.
That's that life-changing moment of, it's not I've lost 10 kilos.
No,
it's not I'm sleeping great. It's like when they say, I actually feel like me again. And that's the key. If people don't feel like themselves, do something about it, because you should be able to feel like you.
And it's actually not as hard at all as people think it is.
And so I think the key with metabolic balance is that you have this plan, you have this product.
Yeah.
That's there.
You have this true framework.
You have a framework, but then you have a coach that is there with you on the journey. My job is to guide somebody, make adjustments. Birthdays come along, how do we deal with that? Okay, let's do this. And to kind of educate them along the way and help embrace metabolic balance into their day-to-day, so it is then sustainable.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. So is there someone that you think MB works especially well for? I mean,
I actually find that really funny.
I know.
Thing.
I mean, Look, I'm asking this question because we get asked this question a lot. So
look, who does MB work for? Anybody that eats food. Like, I kind of go, why would you not want to know the perfect food for you to make you thrive?
Yeah. Or just what you can dip into when it's a good time to do it.
When it's a good time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's so MB works for everybody.
Yeah.
Look, I get a lot of people that want the weight loss, they want these things. And I always look at that and go, that's great, but what else do we have to get you feeling? Like, how can we do this? And once you get this tailored, scientific, perfect list of foods to help get your body back into balance, like I just don't sometimes and like people don't always know about it, so therefore they don't know that it's available.
I know.
But I just don't know why people wouldn't want to know what the foods are. Why would you eat something that wasn't making you thrive?
I often think that MB is just so amazing for the people that just are frustrated and have tried everything as well.
Yeah.
That they're almost feeling in that place that my body has got a mind of its own and there's nothing I can do to stop this progression or this journey I'm on.
Yeah. And I think as well, like we're living in a time now where there's influencers and the social media kind of things, and it's like, try this, it's worked for me. And those generic plans that come out, they may have worked for one person, but it's a generic plan. So MB is a tailored plan. It is individualized.
But it also is all the food groups. It's just the right individual veggies and fruits and proteins and starches and fats. And it's not pigeonholable into being low carb or keto or paleo or all those kind of things, which is very much slot it in that box.
And you still have your choices.
Yeah.
Just because something is on your plan doesn't mean we're saying you have to eat this food. You might not want to eat that food at that time. I certainly talk about variety,
and then expanding the food list when you need it over time.
Absolutely.
That's the other thing.
Absolutely.
We are talking about the plan that gives you change,
not the plan forever.
No. Definitely not.
Once you change, your body can cope with so much more. It adjusts, it creates different enzymes and different things to break foods down. So when you introduce foods that a lot of people come with intolerances or bloating or discomfort, and a lot of the time they follow this process, they get this really good reset and feel great. They introduce those foods and they actually don't have a reaction to them. So it's therefore
tolerance, because we're really calming down the inflammation and the immune system.
Yeah. And if you do put something in and it doesn't agree with you, don't have it.
One of the other parts that I love about metabolic balance, and obviously you can say I'm biased, but it's the ongoing benefit you get from your plan. So we know that you buy your plan and you work with a practitioner such as yourself. But then this is something that the client can have ongoing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been working with MB for nearly 5 years now. So you've obviously seen, you've got clients. So would you share about the cost value from for previous clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So recently worked with a client. She came to me on her own journey.
Yeah.
And she was she's about to hit her 60th birthday, and she went, you know what, if I'm not going to do this now, I'm not going to do it any time, and I need to do this now because I still want to enjoy the rest of my life. So she did, and she's got a family. She's home with her husband. She's got children at home. So she had the plan and the principles, and we discussed very much that this was a plan for her. This wasn't a plan for her family. They should not follow her plan.
Yeah.
But obviously, as the key person in the house that is preparing meals and things like that, she started to shop according to her plan. So she wasn't buying all these discretionary foods that she was having.
Yes.
She wasn't using the shakes and the supplements and all of those sort of things. And at the end of the first month, she came back to me and she said, I've looked at my budget and I have actually saved $1,500 this month on the groceries that I would have bought because I'm not buying it for the rest of the family. And I look at that and I go, not only is she saving money, she's teaching good eating habits to the rest of the family.
Yeah.
She's starting to feel great.
Yeah.
She actually came in and said, I want my husband to do this as well, which tends to normally happen.
Yeah.
So, not only is then like I look at the immediate savings of that cost in the groceries, but then I also, being a practitioner, look to the future and go, you know what, you're coming into your 60s, you're not taking any medications, you're feeling great.
You don't need all of the hospital visits,
The
time,
the time, and even for her, like she loves traveling, and she's got a plan she can travel with, and she hasn't got to go and take her prescription drugs with her or work out what time zone she's got to take them in. So,
and the other thing that is about people having is that every time, I think what we should probably mention is there's this myth, if you would agree with me, there's this myth that okay, I'm doing a diet.
oh yeah.
And I'm going to do it to get to this date or to get into that dress for that occasion or just because I want to get to that number on the scale. Hey, I've achieved that in the diet mentality kind of world.
Yep.
And now I just stop. I abandon, okay, I've done that, tick that box. Now I'm back to normal again.
Yep.
Now, a lot of we know that this diet mentality is just the yo-yo dieting.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
why wouldn't it be the case if you stop doing something that go back to what you used to do, aka you get the same results you got before, kind of thing. So I really like to help people understand that with any kind of focused approach with your diet, you've got to recognize that health is dynamic. It's going to change again. We're not, you've got stresses, you've got holidays, you've got some event going on or something. You might have an accident. You've got to reset yourself. When you have an MB plan, though, you've got that plan ready to go whenever you need to reset.
Yeah, yeah.
So how often would you, like if we were to take you, would you share how you do your reset? Because you've had your plan now for 5 years.
Yep. So just going back to the diet. So one thing I do actually explain to nearly every client that comes in that uses the word diet.
Yeah, it's a 4-letter word.
Yeah, it's a 4-letter word. And the true definition of diet, if we go back historically,
is what you eat.
The food we eat.
Yeah.
Everybody follows a diet.
Yeah.
There's not anyone on this planet that doesn't follow a diet because it's been hijacked and it's been changed and then it's been
negative
used.
connotations.
Negative connotations. So I always say it is a word.
Yeah.
We all follow a diet, but the sense of what you understand diet to be,
exactly.
let's remove that.
Yeah.
I have had my plan, so I got my plan, and it was actually really interesting when I got my plan, and I'm sure you remember, I had actually been vegetarian for 6 years.
Yeah.
And I got my plan, and I was actually not feeling great myself. Like I knew what to do, and I'm like, on paper, my day-to-day diet was perfect. And I got this plan back, and I went, oh, I don't know that I want to do this anymore. And then I listened to something you said, and you said, be open to change. Your body might be looking for something different. So I actually reran the plan as a non-vegetarian plan, and it came back with a fair bit of meat, an abundance of fish and things like that. And I started to incorporate those. And I want to say nearly immediately I felt better for adding different things in. And I'll still be honest, I'll probably go more towards a plant-based diet than the animal proteins. That's just me.
Yeah.
But for 4 years, I followed my plan. And when I say I followed it, I got to my goal. And then I still continue to eat by the principles. I ate 3 meals a day. My foods were different. I went on holidays. But what I found was that sometimes if I just wasn't feeling at what I class my optimal being, like my vitality was dropping a little bit, I would pull my plan out again. I would revisit it and look at it and go, okay, I've got these foods. Let's just do a little bit of a reset through it. However, after 4 years, being a female of a certain age, life changes.
Yeah.
And I went, you know what? My body has changed. And when I had my original plan, my body was there. My body is now here. So I actually replanned and decided to get that. And even that was fascinating in itself. Because even getting your own plan, you're looking at it going, oh my goodness, what am I going to get? What's going to be on here? And I got some things that I never thought I would get. Like I got camel milk on my plan. I went, really? Absolutely love it now. But then I kind of followed that process. So now I use that plan as my basis. But even through that, I've done my reset. I'm feeling good. So other foods are coming back in.
So it's this constant being able to reset. And that's what I feel clients get as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
They get this knowledge that when they're ready, maybe after the Christmas holidays or when they come back off something, or they've been away for a weekend with some girlfriends or something, they come back, yep, I'm doing a week of focused MB. That's how I like to often coach it.
Yeah, just focus back on. Pull
But it's
your
also
plan
quite
out.
interesting, just a comment you made about, obviously you were vegetarian, but you really wasn't quite suiting you.
Yep.
It's that interesting difference between preference nutrition and personalized nutrition.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So would you kind of share how you see those two?
Yeah, so the preference is probably the preferable foods that we would tend to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Whereas that truly personalized nutrition, it's looking at me as an individual, understanding what my makeup is, looking at, we use the blood chemistry analysis to actually guide
what the true health of
the body is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of then going, okay, so just because I have a preference I can have a preference for donuts, but I'm probably not going to go and eat them all the time because I know they're not going to make me feel good.
Yeah.
So just because I have a preference for something, it might not be what my body needs.
Yeah.
And like when I say my diet was pretty good on paper, I probably ate a lot of the same. I really wasn't very varied in what I did. But when I got this personalized list, that I actually looked at that list and I went, all of those foods are personalized to me.
It's actually quite liberating as well, I find.
Yeah, and the foods I eat now, like I recently got all our clients together in a bit of a group, and we actually did a challenge to go and try foods we'd never tried before.
Yeah.
And I actually did it myself. Like even on my plan that I'd had 4 years ago, I'd never had kohlrabi.
Yeah.
So I really didn't know how to cook it.
And that's often the stumbling block, really, isn't it?
I came home with this like big vegetable, and I kind of looked and went, oh my gosh, what do I do? So usual, Google it, learn how to cook it. It's now
YouTube videos.
YouTube's. There were some fails, but now it's part of my day, like weekly shop. I'll go, oh, they've got kohlrabi, let's grab that. So, and it all came because I had a list that was individualized rather than a preference. So my preference would never have been kohlrabi because I'd never had it.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you pick it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's really cool. All right. So is there anything else just to finish off that you would really love to share? If you could just tell somebody one or two things about metabolic balance.
Yes, yeah, so probably I would say is that it is there, it is tried and it is tested. We're not just coming out with something going, you know what, guys, we think this is going to work. We know that will work. We have seen the results of it working. Have faith that the people that you are engaging are professionals. So really look for those people, the influencers and things like that. And I'm not saying there's not influencers out there that aren't professionals, but all of the practitioners that we have in Australia, I myself, I'm continually learning, I'm continually studying. So we're here to support and guide you.
Yeah.
And we're on the journey with you. You're not going to be alone. We're going to support you through that change.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I really want people to know. And it's not as scary as you think it is.
No.
And food doesn't have to be as complicated. I think a lot of people go, it's too daunting. I need to create all of these recipes. I need to get all of these ingredients. I don't know how to cook. We're not asking you to. We're asking you to be open and allow us to help you.
Yeah, it's being open to doing things differently for a period of time. See what your body does with that.
And I would say if you're looking and you come across information out there, you're starting to make that journey.
Yeah.
So explore.
Yeah.
Seek some help and really understand.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And I look forward to the next 700 clients that we're going to look after.
I've got the goals in mind as to what the more people I can have an impact on. It's one of those things. Like obviously, I have a business. I need to run a business. But for me, being able to just touch one person at a time and change one life, hopefully has a knock-on effect that as a society we just keep thriving.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.